Hello and welcome to my crafting area. My name is Erica and today I will be doing a demonstration on raffia basket weaving. We will be creating our own little raffia baskets today. So let's get started. So the first thing you're going to want to do to start making your raffia basket is to take your bundle of natural raffia and you're going to want to open it up. Usually it's folded over twice. As you can see, once you open it up, it is quite long, which is good for what we're working on. But you're not going to need all of this raffia. In fact, you're going to want to separate out about a 1 centimeter bundle, like I'm doing here. So you're just going to pull and hold on to it to make sure that you've got a full length of your raffia. So this is about the thickness that you want, which is about 1 centimeter. Then we are going to begin wrapping it with a piece of the colored coiled raffia. So I'm going to take my 1 centimeter bundle. I'm going to tuck away my extra raffia so that it's not in the way while I'm working on my project. And I'm going to get started here. So my 1 centimeter bundle is going to lay here. And then when I cut a piece off of my coiled raffia bundle here, I'm looking to get about 1 meter long or close to, maybe an arm's width. Anything longer than this and it's going to be challenging to work with. So I recommend about 1 meter long or just slightly shorter. So you're going to take your coiled piece and clip that off, just like so. And you're going to set aside your coil for later. So I've got my piece of raffia. I've also got my 1 centimeter bundle of the natural raffia here. And in order to get started, we are going to start wrapping the colored raffia around one of the ends. So I'm going to go to one of the ends of my bundle here. And the first thing I'm going to do is trim the end. The reason I'm going to do this is because that's going to make it much easier to tuck in these loose ends and make it look tidy when I'm done. So I've got my end here. Now I'm going to take my piece of raffia and I'm going to start wrapping it around, and I'm going to wrap actually towards the end that I've just snipped. Now the reason we're doing this is because we want to cover the end so that we've got neat and tidy ends. So I'm just going around and I'm going to go all the way to the end of the raffia here. Like so. So you want to make sure that your natural raffia is going in one direction while your colored raffia is going another. That's going to be helpful to keep things from getting tangled as we move along. So you'll see I've only wrapped a small section of my raffia. And the reason I was traveling in the opposite direction is because now we are going to start the bottom of our basket. And this is a coil basket. So in order to start the coil, you're going to fold a small piece of the end over like so. And it doesn't matter that this little extra natural raffia is sticking out because we're actually going to cover that as we go. So now that we've made this fold, we're going to wrap the colored raffia over top to seal that end in. And I'm going to keep wrapping, except this time my direction has changed and I'm wrapping towards the colored end. Because as we go, we are going to be wrapping the natural raffia. This is what's going to give our basket the nice color. Once you've covered about 2 inches of the raffia, you're going to start to take that wrapped coiled end and you're going to fold it in. This is what's going to start our coil. So it should look like this. Okay. Now you are going to continue to wrap for another inch or 2 with your colored raffia, like so. And as you move in, you're going to turn it to make a coil, okay? Now, we want to make sure that we don't get too far in without starting to attach the coil to itself. This is so that the basket actually holds together. So I'm at a point now where I want to start making sure that my coil stays tight so that I don't have to hold on to it. It's a good size now because we've got the small center with a hole in it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the end of my colored raffia here, and I'm going to put a yarn needle on it. This is where our sewing skills come in, but don't worry, you don't need to know how to sew. This is just for weaving it in. So I've fed the eye. It's quite, see how large that eye is? It's perfect to fit that piece of raffia. I'm just going to bend it so that it doesn't slide off. And now I'm going to take this end and I'm going to stick it down through the center of my basket. And I'm going to pull. So don't worry too much about the tidiness. The thing that you want to make sure that you have here first is that it's tight. And the reason I say that you need it to be tight is that's what's going to make sure your basket is holding together. So what I've just done is I've taken this colored raffia and I've stuck it down through the center of the hole there. This is going to hold the bottom of the basket together. So I no longer have to pinch it to hold that coil. Now I'm going to continue to wrap around my colored piece here. So I'm going to switch again to making sure that my colored is going one direction, my natural is going the other. That's going to prevent me from getting all tangled up here. So I'm going to wrap around just the single strand here. See, I don't have to hold on to my coil anymore because I've already done one stitch through the center. And I'm going to wrap again for about 1 inch to 2 inches. So I'm just wrapping around this natural piece, okay? Once I've covered about 1 inch to 2 inches, again, I'm going to continue my coil. So I'm going to wrap around a little bit more. I'm going to stick my needle back through the center again, and this is going to help me to fasten it on to itself here. And I'm going to make sure I'm pulling it really tight. That's going to make sure that my coil stays together. So there we go. So once you've fed it through that one time, you can continue to keep wrapping with the colored raffia. Okay, so as you can see here, I am running low on my colored raffia. Now we're going to need another piece to continue going. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide my needle off the end here and set that aside. I'm going to grab my roll and cut another meter here. All right, like so. And all I'm going to do to continue weaving is I'm now going to take this colored piece and let it become part of the inside of my weaving by adding it into the natural raffia, okay? So I'm going to take my new piece, I'm going to lay it over top, and I'm going to wrap it around the natural raffia as well as the end of my colored piece that's running out. So I'm going to do that for a few wraps. I would say probably about 6 to 8 wraps. Should make sure that it's held in there securely, okay? So I'm ready to start going up the sides. In order to work up your sides, there's really not much difference in what we've previously been doing, except as you continue to wrap, like we were doing before, you're gonna do about, again, 1 to 2 inches. Instead of going towards the outside of the coil, you're going to start to put the coil on top. So instead of going around the outside, you're going to put the coil on top of the previous layer. See how it looks like there's now 2 layers stacked on top of each other? And inside, instead of sticking it behind, you're now going to stick it straight down through the previous layer, okay? Okay, so I'm at a point now where I'm running out of my natural raffia. So I'm gonna have to add some more natural raffia in to continue making my coil. So in order to do that, I've gotten out another 1 centimeter bundle of the natural raffia. I'm gonna smooth it out as best I can. I'm gonna go to one of the ends of my bundle and I'm gonna trim it off just so that it's easier to work with, okay? So I'm gonna trim it off like this. And now I've got a more manageable end to work with. I'm gonna take my previous end that's attached to my coil, and I'm going to trim that as well, just so that that's easy to work with. So now I've got two roughly smoothed out edges. Okay. I'm going to take my new bundle. Actually, let's trim this back a little bit shorter. It's going to be easier to work with. So the one on my coil pot, I've cut back to about 1.5 inches long. I'm going to take my new bundle and I'm going to mix it in. I'm just going to overlap it here. So I've got my old pieces and my new pieces pinched between 2 fingers here. And I'm going to take my colored and I'm going to wrap it around, just like we were doing before, to incorporate the new piece of natural raffia. So I'm going to go around the new part probably again 6 to 8 times, making sure that it is tightly enclosed inside. That will make sure that our coil basket won't fall apart. All right, so I'm at the point now where I'm pretty much happy with the height of my basket. I've got about 5 coils high. So I'm ready to finish off the ends. This is really simple to do. All you need to do is cut off your excess natural raffia. So you're going to cut this fairly close. I would say leaving about 1 inch to 1.5 inches. So I'm going to snip that off like so. I've just got a little bit sticking out. I've still got my colored raffia attached here. And I'm going to continue to wrap that little piece because I want to make sure that it's covered. So again, you're going to wrap pretty much all the way to the end, leaving just a little bit sticking out. I'm going to then feed it through the previous coil just as I was doing before. Pull tight. And then I've still got this little bit here left to cover. So for that, I'm just going to continue to go through the previous coil like so, covering it each time. Okay. There we go. And now to finish it off, I'm going to just sew through the previous end here. So I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to stick it through the last piece that I just coiled through. Oh, my paper fell out. I'm just going to stick that back through the eye of the needle, like so. Probably would have been better if I left myself a longer piece, but anyway, as you can see, I stuck the needle through the last wrap that I just did, and I'm going to pull through to fasten it. So I've got it. I'm going to pull through like so, and I'm going to pull really tight to fasten off that end. Make sure it's very secure, like so. And then I may even just go through one more time in the back. There we go, like that. And I've just got this little piece left over. I can clip that off to tidy up the look of my basket. So I'm going to snip that off. I have a few natural raffia pieces that are sticking out. I can also snip those off to clean up the look like so. It's quite malleable, so you can bend it a little bit to suit the shape that you want. There we go. I'm rounding it out just a little bit. But there you have it. We've completed our very own woven raffia basket.